This is Whistler Blackcomb. Located 120 kilometers north of Vancouver, it is North America's largest ski resort. While some may only know it as a winter resort, for others, it's more than just that. It's a city, a vibrant community of Canadians, skiers, and tourists. At least, it once was, a few decades ago. Attracting over 3 million visitors per year, Whistler is one of North America's many ski resorts spread out across the remote corners of the continent, and like many, it has been acquired by Vail. In the early 2000s and the 2010s, for ski industry leaders and visionaries to name Whistler into the #1 resort in North America, indicated by international ski magazines, was a big deal. For Canadians, this meant a Canadian resort was beating out the top US resorts. But now, fast forward to the takeover of Whistler by Vail, it seems as if a Canadian icon was being taken over by the corporate world of America. But Whistler is not the only one. It's common assent that corporate consolidation takes away the soul and identity of the cherished resort.
Ski season is just a month away, and this year it'll cost more than ever. A peak season one-day ticket purchased day of can cost almost $300 before tax.
The past, as they say, has now become nothing but a pipe dream. Ski resorts are not winter playgrounds. Apart from supplying a fun winter getaway, they hold up the economy of local communities, supplying jobs for up to tens of thousands of people. But with shifting economic tides, the strategies resorts use that will define their future are becoming ever more prevalent. What started off as simple seasonal family-owned businesses have now evolved into new, completely unrecognizable corporations. From the day-to-day operations of ski resorts to the risks that may come up with demand, the entire business of ski resorts has shifted. But how and why has it changed? The first thing you see when you have the urge to head up a hill is, of course, the chairlift. A new high-speed chairlift alone can cost upwards of $10 million to install. And the ongoing maintenance, another $500,000 to $1 million per year. This amount comes from the daily maintenance and checkups from mechanics and operators needed to safely operate lifts. And now, speaking of safety, ski patrol teams work before sunrise using explosives to trigger controlled avalanches. That way, the dangerous snow comes down before skiers ever hit the slopes. This works together with grooming the ski runs, which all happens throughout the off hours, usually during night, to flatten runs so they are ready for the next day of skiing. The most obvious piece is lift tickets. It's the cost you have to pay to even access most of the terrain on a mountain. And this is what drives most profit for ski resorts. But in reality, lift tickets are what gives access to the lifts. Together with amenities, lessons, and rentals, these drive the majority of revenue for a big ski resort. And of course, ski resorts can be entire towns, villages, with their own economy, and often charges a surcharge for lodging, which contributes to the overall earning of the resort. As we've seen, the ski industry is experiencing various revenue fluctuations. But behind those financial numbers, several critical risks loom large, especially with the growing influence of climate change, housing challenges, and evolving travel patterns. Let's dive deeper into the risks that are threatening the long-term viability of ski resorts. Climate change is now an unavoidable factor impacting many industries, including the ski industry, because it is dependent on cold weather and consistent snowfall. But this isn't just a theoretical concern. In many regions, ski resorts are already seeing a reduced profitability. Resorts are having to invest heavily in artificial snowmaking and other adaptations, adding to operational costs and decreasing overall profitability. But what was once a stable winter sport is now financially unpredictable. Ski resorts face shorter seasons, forcing them to adapt their business models to less consistent traffic. And for consumers, this nature of the season means less reliable ski conditions. This uncertainty can deter travelers, particularly those who once planned their vacations around the traditional ski season, leading to fewer bookings and lower revenue for resorts.
Our seasons pass holders, who is the majority of the business in the spring, once the golf course is open, once the soccer pitch is open, baseball starts, kids are getting out their bikes, their skateboards, we lose the attention of the local market because they've skied enough. They now want to play in the lake, play on the grass, and enjoy the valley. So that's what we find is really affecting us the most, is the season is later.
What was once a mainstream activity is at risk of becoming a niche sport. This could further reduce its market share, especially as younger generations may not grow up with the same passion for skiing that older generations did. The housing crisis is another significant risk, particularly in ski communities. The availability and affordability of housing directly affect both the workforce and the community dynamics that are central to ski resort operations. In Vail, Colorado, where the median home price exceeds $1 million USD, resort workers are struggling to find affordable housing within a reasonable commute. This shortage creates a significant workforce challenge for ski resorts. The housing crisis also has a social and cultural impact. Long-term residents near the ski resorts who contribute to the unique character and atmosphere of ski towns are constantly being displaced by escalating housing costs, leading to a decline in community cohesion and engagement that once defined these areas. And lastly, traveling to ski resorts is very expensive, particularly for families and individuals from distant regions. Increased costs in transportation, whether by air, rail, or car, combined with the escalating cost of accommodation, makes it harder for customers to justify the expense of skiing.
The biggest challenge that we have in the tourism business now is the cost of air travel. If you look at Kelowna International Airport, it is the 10th busiest airport in Canada. Kelowna and the Central Okanagan relies heavily on tourism dollars. And Kelowna, unfortunately, the ticket price to fly into Kelowna from Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, Seattle, Los Angeles, it's expensive.
Luckily, here at Vancouver, we have 3 ski resorts about half an hour north of downtown. But for ski resorts in other parts of the world, whether in the Americas or in the Alps in Europe, you may not be as fortunate. People may travel for hours to reach their nearest ski resorts, and even then, there may be some people who are willing to spend hours on a plane to travel and reach their final destination. And the travel does not cost cheap. In the end, skiing is one of the most expensive hobbies to pick up. Between the cost of equipment, lift tickets, travel, and lodging, it's clear that skiing can become a significant financial commitment. However, in recent years, ski resorts have undergone a transformation. More and more ski resorts are shifting towards corporate consolidation as major players in the industry merge or acquire smaller resorts. This trend has led to a number of advantages for both the resorts themselves and their customers. One key advantage is the ability to achieve economies of scale. Larger companies can negotiate better deals for everything from equipment and supplies to marketing and infrastructure. By consolidating operations, ski resorts can reduce overhead, making it easier to manage fluctuating revenue streams, particularly in times of unpredictable weather patterns caused by climate change. So, many companies have resorted, pun unintended, to joining forces with other resorts to create corporate conglomerates that strengthen their footholds in the skiing markets. This approach, while making skiing more accessible to some through bundled passes, also raises the stakes for smaller independent resorts, who may struggle to compete with the skill and resources of the larger players. In the long run, while consolidation may be the key to survival for many resorts, it also signals a shift towards a more corporate-controlled ski industry, where the experience of skiing might become more standardized. This shift presents both opportunities but challenges for both the resorts and their guests, as the balance between maintaining a unique feel and using corporate power continues to evolve. As the ski industry faces an increasingly uncertain future, it will be interesting to see how these mega resorts balance their growth ambitions with the preservation of the culture and identity that makes skiing such a beloved pastime.